And because there's been so little pushback from campus leaders, because there's been so little vehement, proper, strong-arm pushback from government, state or federal, I would argue this is the kind of thing that we are now seeing happen in one of the world's leading Jewish schools. It's right here in Australia. It's called Mount Scopus in Burwood. Their campus was defiled with anti-Semitic graffiti on the very front gate. Someone graffitied Jewdie written in black spray paint. Of course, Albanese did then dust off the microphone and say what he keeps saying, talking out the other side of his mouth.
There is no place for anti-Semitism. I think Dan's right that we need to be, as a country, mature enough to be able to have a debate about what's going on overseas, to allow people to have their completely legitimate right to express their views about what's happening overseas, but to do that in a way which does not challenge our own social cohesion.
Sorry, that was an elbow, of course. That was Richard Marles. They keep using this line, there's no place, there's no place, there's no place for this. And yet, with every second tweet from this government and all their support at the UN state councils, well, it seems like you have created a place for it, haven't you? Because you certainly haven't created a place for a lot of social cohesion around this particular issue. Albanese tweeted the same, there's no place for this. Yeah. That seems to be their line. The frustration for anyone paying attention is they themselves are creating a place for this. They have not had a comprehensive stance on it, even since the October 7th massacres. Even their front bench is divided on it. They keep talking out of both sides of their mouth. And then when something like this happens, they say, no, there's no place for this.
And the government has sort of tried in vain in the last couple of weeks to seem like they are doing something. But it's very Johnny-come-lately, right? There was a motion put up that was supported by Labor to say that from the river to the sea was basically a chant for genocide. Of course, that didn't stop a couple of days earlier a member of Labor in the Senate saying exactly that on the floor of the Senate.
But that motion was brought by Labor in direct response to that to emphasise that.
But how does a member of the Labor Party feel comfortable saying that on the floor of the Senate in the first place that then requires the Labor Party to do that?
That was absolutely appalling, and there was a New South Wales MP who's also said some similarly stupid crap, and he's been put in his box by Premier Chris Minns. And again, you will have people in the party from time to time who say incredibly stupid things. I'd love to root them all out if I could, but sadly that's not always possible. But the point is that the leadership has every single time completely rebuked them, put them in their box, even put it to a vote, so they'll put in their box. Anthony Albanese has come out personally and said from the river to the sea is not appropriate. It is effectively a call for genocide and wiping out the Israeli state. So again, I think you've got to give, when he does say the right thing, if you want to have a go at him, if he's being equivocal, fine. But when he actually does come out and do the right thing, when Labor comes out and does the right thing, you've got to give him some credit.
Well, but they ought to do that in the first place.
Basics, while their actions totally defy absolutely everything that they're saying. Of course, they're going to be like, there's been graffiti on a leading Jewish school in Australia. There's no place for this. Every second thing that they say supports this kind of move by supporting Palestine. These protesters feel emboldened. They feel like their cause is backed by very powerful
There is a difference
backers.
between having a debate about how intensive the Israeli response to October 7 should be and deserves to be. And I think you can understand anyone who's Jewish or Israeli would obviously would be forgiven for thinking, right, I just want to just wipe every one of these bastards from the face of the planet. But again, I think you can say, listen, October the 7th was outrageous. It was indefensible. Israel has to be able to defend itself. Israel has to be able to take out Hamas.
Thank you, because what you just said is far more than this government has said.
But, and this is the stuff we should have heard right from the beginning, and we wouldn't be in this position. And Josh Frydenberg, much along the tenor of what we've been talking about tonight, says a lot of this has come down to a failure in leadership.
I think there's been a comprehensive failure of leadership across the board here in Australia to protect the Jewish community. This is their fundamental duty of leaders, to protect us, and they've failed to do that. They've been found wanting, and I think they should hold their heads in shame.
And of course, Josh Frydenberg's documentary, Never Again, The Fight Against Anti-Semitism, will be here on Sky News at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Do not miss it.